Welcome to the best sports betting show on the planet. This is Lang. It's Wednesday. We are dialed in. We have MLB. We got CFL. We got the Steam report. I'm going to talk a little golf. A lot of things going on this Wednesday, so let's keep the momentum rolling. Gianni's going to get us started with the Steam report. You guys know that. Ross Bensman is going to join us, talk the Rays and the Yankees. And Andrew McInnis is going to join us to talk CFL, Red Blacks, Stampeders. And then Dan and I are going to break down the Chargers 9.5 season win total. Let us know what you think about the Chargers. Good number. I do have a pretty strong opinion on this one. So excited about that. If you guys could, while we're getting started, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We crossed 210,000 subscribers. I believe our next goal is 230,000. I think that's what we're targeting. So if you want to help us out, join the WagerTalk family. We're flying in on these subscribers. So appreciate everybody for joining us. Let's get started and bring in Gianni. Let's talk the Steam report. I see one massive move in a particular sport. I'm interested if you're going to talk about it. What are we looking at for Steam right now, Gianni?
All right. Sharps are on fire right now. I got to just stay selective. That's the key, because there's a lot of scalping. I'm seeing a ton of scalps later in the day. But yesterday, a nice 3-in-1 day with a push. The $5 4% WNBA hit, 2-0 in WNBA. Hopefully you had that free play as well. The free plays that I'm giving out are premium, so make sure you check it out on Instagram and TikTok. Yesterday, I gave out a 4% in baseball on those platforms. So make sure you check them out. Greek_Gambler and Greek_Gambler7 at TikTok. And no WNBA today so far as a premium, but they did get down on Phoenix, 601 Phoenix -2.5. Now, baseball, if you go over to WagerTalk.com, check out the free picks. You'll see I put out a 3% prop in Major League Baseball. It's a run, hits, and errors prop that I released to subscribers as 3%. So far, that's the only baseball premium, but here's some of the Steam that I've been moving since early this morning. 951 under 7.5, up to -120, Cubs, Milwaukee. 956, San Diego, even money. 962, Baltimore, -115, keep riding Baltimore. 963, under 8.5, up to -130, Boston, Minnesota. 975, Atlanta, +110. 977, Philly, -140. And finally, 980, under 8, -110, Colorado and Cleveland. So a couple sides, couple totals. Still a little bit slow today, but that'll pick up like it did yesterday later in the afternoon.
Yeah, that Phoenix, Indiana one is a bit curious. Caitlin Clark is still out. What's crazy about it is the offense for Indiana is like rocket and rolling. These games are flying over the total. I see a big move on the total up. Mitchell's been absolutely red hot. But yeah, I could see the move on Phoenix. So make sure you're checking the injury report, especially in the Liberty game. If you guys are betting WNBA, still Liberty missing a ton of people. I'm stunned there's money on Atlanta, Gianni. I'm stunned that there's money on Atlanta. I mean, they have to be playing the number, not the team, because the team's in shambles. What am I missing in this one?
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, it's tough to bet some of these teams, especially when they're playing bad and they're 15, 16, 17 games under 500. But when it comes to money lines, again, that's the great equalizer. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we talked about that all the time. You know, there's somewhere in between that 40% to 55% is what those teams win. And this looks to me like it just took advantage of a high opener. Obviously, Kansas City's a 500 team, 500 at home. I think one game below that. I get it. Nothing sexy on the Atlanta side. They've won only 2 of their last 8 games. So, I don't know what they saw there. I'm looking at the pitching matchup. You're looking at a starter that gave up 3 earned runs in his last game. They haven't won a game in his last 5. But the same thing with Kansas City. He's pitching better than their starter, but they're not putting up runs for him. It's just an ugly game. I could see a dog or pass situation. I mean, being excited about laying chalk on Kansas City doesn't get me all excited either. But just one, not a game that I've looked at, to be honest with you. Nothing that jumped out at me. But they did take the plus, and that's why that line's down to like -112. at Bet Online right now. So he got hit again. Wow, it was like 115 a little earlier. So for whatever reason, man, they're betting Atlanta.
Unknown entity has an amazing stat. I can't
Yeah,
verify
I
this.
saw that.
Atlanta has won the last 8 of their day games on Wednesdays. Wow, that is an incredible stat, Unknown. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. Brett wants to know, how do you bet runs, hits, air? That is in the props section. So you just got to go to, depending on your book, like on DraftKings, just go to baseball and scroll across the top, and you'll see the props. Runs, hits, errors, home runs, just hits. They offer all kinds of props. So just check the prop section in baseball. So, Gianni, anything that was surprising you in some of those? I mean, I said Atlanta really surprised me. Any of those games kind of jump off the page? You're like, that one's a little curious why they're betting that one.
No, I'm seeing the dogs that they're betting, and like Miami, where'd that Miami game go? Miami with St. Louis. Like the public is all over Miami. And that's one of those that the sharps need as well. Because remember, that was one of those series bets that's actually still live. Miami and Boston are still live on the series bets because it's 1-1. So they need both Miami and they need both Boston to win today to cash those series bets. But the other dog series bets are going to lose for them. The Arizona, the Mets, and one other team they had that on that series. Oh, the Athletics as well. Are all down like 2-0. So all those are going to lose, but they need Boston and they need Miami today. And both of those are getting heavy public money. Like those are 2 public dogs that are getting a ton of action. Miami over St. Louis. That was yesterday also. They were all over the Miami side. They're coming right back with them. And they were all over Boston. That got it done. So they're coming right back with them. Like that was a sharp play and a public play where they were both on the same side. And it looks like the same thing again, where you got the sharps and the public on those same dogs again. Will they come through? Time will tell. But that always worries me. It always worries me when I see the recreational bettors lining up on underdogs, especially, money line dogs. It's different if they're getting points, but money line dogs always worry me.
I'm very proud of you for not taking your victory lap that the Detroit Tigers are 4-6 in their last 10 and they're below 58% on their win percentage. I know you just shrug. It's the numbers. The history tells us the story. Sometimes you don't need to overthink these things, but the numbers are just there in front of us. So, I don't see anybody over that 60%. Closest, believe it or not, Brewers, the Red Hot Brewers. They're the closest to 60%.
And based on my guy's projection, no team's going to win 60%. The closest is going to be the Dodgers, who are going to be he has them winning like 96 games. At that point, they're like at 59%, 59 point something. So he has nobody winning 60%. In fact, he has Detroit getting down to 55%. So he sees them coming down even more so.
Okay. Justin asked, is it too early to determine where the public money is? I will just refer back to what Dave Mason told us. He said at this time when we're recording the show, the public money has not come in yet.
No.
So yes, Justin, it is most recreational bettors. They're going to be betting hour
before the game. In fact, like on Sunday NFL, 2 hours before the game is where 75 to 80% of the money gets bet. Like you may have 20% of the action bet up until Sunday morning, an hour or 2 before kickoff. Like that's when it all floods in. Most already had made up their mind, but for whatever reason, they just wait until hour before the bet. But a lot of bettors also aren't working with credit shops. So they're not going to they don't tie up their money. Like let's say there's an NFL game on Sunday, but they're betting baseball Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or NBA or college basketball during those times. So they're not getting out ahead and betting college football, betting NFL until the day of. That's, not the best thing to do a lot of times, but it's just the position a lot of bettors are in. That's why most of the action comes in very, very late, the bulk of it for sure.
I want to take this time right now to tell you guys, okay, when football season starts, the most important day that you guys need to watch this show for NFL spreads is Monday, and it's not because of Monday Night Football. It's because we need to get out ahead of these numbers. If we're trying to put in plays on money lines and spreads, and we're doing it Friday or we're doing it Sunday mornings, we've missed the boat. Mondays is going to be the most important day of Wager Talk Today during football season. We need to know what these numbers are, where they're moving, and how we can get out ahead of it. So just be prepared. During football season, Monday, you guys need to be here. We will talk Monday Night Football, but you want to be better than 99% of the recreational bettors? Come here. That's where we're going to be talking about the lines. It's the most important day of NFL season. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Gianni. I'm sure you're with me 100%.
I could not agree more. Listen, if you're putting all your NFL plays in on Sunday, you're probably not going to win. Like you have a winning season if you're doing that week in, week out, because you're betting into the sharpest numbers, and they've already been like bet into by the sharpest bettors on the planet. That like all the information's been factored into the betting line. That's arguably one of the worst times you could place a bet unless you're taking advantage of an overreaction. Like, again, because the books aren't guessing what the outcome is going to be. They're trying to manage risk. So a lot of times betting late does offer some advantages. If they're shading that line towards all that public money coming in, you may get a better number. But if all your bets are being placed an hour before kickoff, you're probably not having a winning NFL season. It's just too hard to beat a sport like that late. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, the teasers, teasers are going to be great content for later on in the week, but we're just talking money lines and spreads. And
we'll touch on the teasers when the season starts, because that's very different. And, there's ones that are available during the week that as the line moves, they're no longer available. And as a bettor, you got to decide, should I put those teasers in when the number's there, or should I not? And we'll talk about that as the season progresses for sure.
Before I let you go, anything jumping out at you for UFC? We always get a little UFC action. I got to be honest, there's not a ton I like on this card. I have not been running great in UFC. It feels like if I like something and I don't put it in, it easily wins. If I put it in, the guy gets randomly knocked out, a la Carlos Leal. The only one that I'm kind of curious on, I like Tresean Gore at the plus 170 against Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo has literally said he doesn't like fighting. This is a professional fighter that says he doesn't like fighting, and I get plus 170 on a guy that's fighting for a spot on the roster. Other than that, not a ton of line movement or anything I really, really see. What do you think of UFC?
No, I like Gore as well. He's going to have a slight reach advantage, 5 years younger, switch stance for sport. Like, those are little trends that are definitely in his favor. He's coming off that knockout loss, but prior to that, he had back-to-back finishes himself. I think there's some value there. The one that jumped out at me a little bit was Carol Rosa. Because she's coming off that loss against Aileen Perez, which, Perez is red hot right now with twerking and all of that.
In more than one way. Yes.
After losing her debut, that girl's rattled off 4 or 5 straight wins. And I think this is a little overreaction. I think Rosa would have been a much bigger favorite against Nora, but it's kind of like that perfect storm. Nora's coming off a nice submission win against Cowan. My girl's coming off a loss, and I think there's a little recency bias attached to that line. I thought she should have been well over a 2-1 favorite. Again, laying chalk in MMA, got to be selective. But that one jumped down. I agree with you. I think it's a tough card, not the greatest of matchups. And that's because we got a big pay-per-view coming up in like 2 weeks, I think. A couple of good fight nights, the Chimaev Duplessis in Chicago in mid-August. So there's a couple good cards ahead. This one, not all that great. I agree.
All right. What do you have up for everybody, for clients up at Wager Talk?
I have tomorrow's Hall of Fame game. I released that to subscribers, a 4% best bet in the NFL, first game of the year. I have the NFL college football combo package with the futures. I have the MMA pass for Saturday. And, of course, baseball will be going up as well. Started off the week well, 4-0 on Monday, 3-1 on Tuesday. Let's just keep it going.
All right, great stuff, Gianni. Hall of Fame game tomorrow. We'll be breaking that game down as best we can tomorrow. Thank you, Gianni, and keep enjoying your staycation, brother. Let's see. I haven't promoted a whole lot. I have not been running hot in very many things. Full disclosure, we had 2 really good weeks in a row, and we laid an egg last week. So we're trying to get back in the profits this week. That way we get a nice little run of 3 out of 4 winning weeks. So that's what we're looking at. What we have up right now is a really solid golf play for the Wyndham Championship. It's a little bit of an obscure tournament, but sometimes those are the best. It's only $15. Like I said, the only play that we have up for sale. I have not talked much about selling plays just because we have not been running very good, and I do not want to tell you to go get something that we're not running well in. But I have never had a losing season in golf. This play, you can lock this in before it starts, in any plays that we have during the tournament, like individual round plays. And I think there's going to be some good ones on the weekend because there's some really nasty wind coming in. So I think we're going to have some pretty high round scores coming up. But go grab that golf play. This is the play that I absolutely love. Just jumped off the page. I've already played this with my own money. I love it. It's a $15 play. So go grab that for the Wyndham Championship. WT.buzz/AL. So yeah, Justin, this tournament, I'm liking this tournament. This is a really good one. The playoffs start next week, so there's some guys that are going out there to really get tuned in. You got some bigger names that are playing, so looking forward to it. Dan, let's go around the world. Let's get some free plays for the people, give some actionable info. And listen, if you guys have been watching this show, you know my guy, Harry Hall, best hat game in the game. We're going right back to him, top 40 at -140. Books are not adjusting this number. 9 tournaments in a row. 9 times? 9 times. Here's your Ferris Bueller throw out. All right, Harry Hall, top 40. If you've been cashing on this one, you might want to sit this one out because he's missed the cut here the last 2 years, but this man is a completely different golfer. He's number 1 in putting over the last year, over the last 6 months, over the last 3 months. I'm not worried about it. I'm probably going to play it a little bit. But if you've hit like 4 or 5 in a row and you're going, I don't know about playing this one, just take your profits. But if you want to keep riding the streak, Harry Hall, top 40. Dolan did a great job giving us a free soccer winner. So let's hit up Pavlos for one. Liga MX, San Luis at Portland. He's looking at the under 3 goals in regulation. Portland lost a forward to injury a few games ago. They've only scored 5 goals in 7 matches since then. We had a coaching change, 2 losses last 3 games since that change. So Pavlos expects this to be a little bit of a low-scoring game. And then we mentioned this Braves and Royals. Teddy covers free play on the Royals. He and clients cashed last night on the Royals. These are the stats that he brings up. The Braves, 2-8 the last 10 games. They've allowed 6 or more runs in 7 straight games. Braves bullpen has been bad. Ronald Acuna now has a strained hamstring, and the Royals the offense is kind of coming around. This has been an anemic offense for most of the year, but they're on a hot stretch. 6+ runs average the last 9 games. So those are your free plays today. So, all right, let's bring in the boss. No, I'm not talking about our bosses. I mean the boss, Ross Benjamin. Woo, look at that background. Got the slick logos of the Rays and the Yankees there. Ross, how are you this week, sir?
Andy, it's always a pleasure to be back with you, and I'm doing terrific. You know, things couldn't be going better on the handicapping side of things, and my clients have done awfully well over the last 2.5 months or so. So free picks are rolling as well, so no complaints, Andy.
All right, let's get into Rays and Yankees. They split the first 2 games of the series. I was bummed. I talked about playing the Rays over their team total. The books have been hanging at 3.5. Then I log in this morning. Books bumped it up to 4.5, so the books have sniffed that one out. Rays have been doing pretty decent with the bats. How do you break this game down today, game 3 in the series?
Well, you know, it's a tough one because neither one of these teams has played well. They both looking like they're falling off the map in the AL East race right now. But, you know, the Yankees did win yesterday. They're within 5 games of Toronto, although I think this is a team you could fade going down the stretch unless they make some major moves at the trade deadline. But Zach Littell gets a start for the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be Will Warren for the New York Yankees. And Warren has been in bad form over his last 5 starts, 6.29 ERA, a 185 whip. With a whip that's that high, it's surprising his ERA isn't even higher than 6.29. He's given up 6 home runs in 24 and 1/3 innings pitched over those 5 starts. That's not a good ratio whatsoever. Since last year, Will Warren has really faded down the stretch. From game 82 on, he's been horrible, and it aligns with the fact that in 11 starts since game 82 plus, since the start of last year, 10-1 to the over. The Yankees bullpen, which I've alluded to on numerous occasions, not only with you, but with Steve Merrill last Saturday, 7.36 ERA, 1.68 whip over their last 24. They've been brutal. And that's, again, that was their strength in years past, but it's certainly not their strength now. Zach Littell, he's been prone to giving up the long ball. 26 home runs in 21 starts, 18 home runs in 72 innings pitched on the road. It's 1 per 4 innings. That's not a very good ratio for a starting pitcher. The current New York Yankees are 18 for 66 against Littell, a 360 on base percentage, 5 home runs. So they've had some success when facing Littell. And that includes that 18 for 66 with 5 home runs, doesn't include Aaron Judge in the mix. So it's not like it's a little bit askew because Judge, but he's not in the lineup and he's not included in that 18 for 66. The Tampa Bay bullpen, like the Yankees bullpen, underachieving terribly this year. Again, like the Yankees, this was their strength over the last few seasons, but not this year. And over their last 6 games, a 5.09 ERA. The bullpen on the road this year in division games, 18 games the Rays have played against division opponents on the road this year, and their bullpen in those 18 games, a 6.10 ERA and a 1.49 whip. The Yankees, 14 division home games this year, averaging 5.4 runs per game and averaging 1.6 home runs per game and a 345 on base percentage. And here's the thing that people overlook a lot, and you should consider home plate umpires. David Rackley is slated to be behind home tonight, calling balls and strikes, and he's 8-3 to the over in his last 11 as a home plate umpire. He's umpired or been behind the plate, I should say, in 2 Yankees games this year. Both went over the total. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay and the New York Yankees to go over the total of 9. And I have a better prop too, which I know you like, Andy. Anthony Volpe is 5 for 11 lifetime against Zach Littell. Not a huge sample size, but he's had some success. That's somewhere around a 450 batting average. And also, out of those 5 hits, 2 of them were home runs. He also knocked in 5 runs in those 11 at-bats. And I like Volpe to have 1 or more hits tonight at odds of plus 175. And then I'm going to go out on a limb here and go with Volpe 1 or more home runs tonight at odds of plus 550. Hopefully we hit that 1 or more hits because of his success against Littell. And then we're assuring ourselves of making a profit. And then if we hit the home run prop, then we're really in the money in that regard. So again, the Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees over 9, Anthony Volpe +1+ hits at plus 175, Anthony Volpe 1+ home runs at odds of plus 550. There you have it, Andy.
Hey, Ross, real quick, just a little bit slower. That was a great bullpen little segment. Go over that real quick one more time. Old dog Trey was asking about the bullpen stats. So the bullpen stats that you just gave. So give me that bullpen stats that you just gave out one more time. That was great.
All right. So the Yankees bullpen, actually, I didn't include this, and I will this time. A 7.36 ERA and a 1.68 whip over their last 24 games. Terrible. And also the Tampa Bay bullpen, you're looking at 14 division away games this year. And in those 14 games, their bullpen has a staff .610 ERA, and 149 WHIP. So, and if you look at both of these bullpens' overall numbers and compare them to what each bullpen has done for the Yankees and the Rays in the previous 3 seasons, for example, it's night and day. There's definitely a drastic difference, and it's not for the good.
That's great stuff on the bullpens. Yeah, you got to know these bullpens. So great work, Ross. Any teams jumping off the page for you in MLB right now? Teams you want to fade, teams you want to support? Any teams you find yourself gravitating towards?
Yeah, it's sort of tough because as Gianni mentioned, you got a lot of teams hovering around, between 500 and 600 over the last 10 games or so. I mentioned the Braves last week, and boy, oh boy, that looks like a stupid pick right now because I had said that they may improve in the second half, but, they've had a horrible week since then. And like I said, I would look at the Braves, what they do at the trade deadline, and right now they have to sell because they've fallen right completely off the map and out of the race, wild card and NL East. So that's a team that, I think that they're going to get rid of a lot of players, and they'll probably get some youngsters back in return because it's not like they're going to get a rental when they're out of the playoff race. So I'm going to stay away from them. In terms of, again, I don't see Toronto fading right now. I mean, they're hitting. They just added a nice piece in the bullpen. Of course, they lost the doubleheader yesterday, but that's been out of the ordinary for them because they've been on a roll. I think that they run away with the AL East when it's all said and done. I look for Boston to make a run in the wild card race. I like their starting pitching. Their bullpen is solid. If they come around with the bats or they add a bat or two at the trade deadline, I think that's a team that will have some value in the second half as well, Andy.
That's great stuff, Ross. Appreciate it. Tell everyone what you have up for clients up at WagerTalk.
All right, I'll have a Major League Baseball premium pick winner up tonight. For tonight, I'll have that up within the hour. And also, folks, I will be taping another free pick video in the game between the Cincinnati Reds and the LA Dodgers. That'll be on WagerTalk TV. It's a solo video, and my free picks between WagerTalk Today and my solo videos at WagerTalk TV. Although we lost yesterday, we're still 47-14 and 64-21 runs with our free picks. I know it sounds absurd, but folks, all you need to do is you could check me by going to my personal link at WagerTalk TV, which is wt.buzz/RossTV. That's wt.buzz/RossTV. Also, keep in mind, folks, Major League Baseball, you need to get on board. I know that a lot of you don't like betting baseball, but a lot of you do like making money, I'm sure. In my Major League Baseball this year, number 2 in units earned, I'm on a current Major League Baseball premium pick run of 68-43, good for 61% and up 62.71 units. And I mentioned the 2.5 month run with the premium picks, 83-51 with my last 34, 62% and plus 79.49 in terms of units earned. So a lot of good things happening right now, folks. And don't forget, college football. My early bird special expires this Friday, $4.99 as of Saturday morning. That's going up to $5.99. Why should you consider buying that from me? Well, I'll tell you why.
I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
It's right. And college football, number 1 in units earned, number 1 in win percentage last year. 2 years ago, number 2 in units earned. And when you combine the last 2 college football seasons, nobody at WagerTalk.com has more units earned in college football than yours truly. And I'm really proud of that because, man, oh, man, I got a great cast of coworkers over at WagerTalk.com. You know, some of the top handicappers in the world there.
All right, Ross, the boss, Benjamin. We're gonna work on that setup. So next week you're gonna say, why should we get the college football? And then I'll go, why should we get that football? And then you say, I'm glad you asked. We're gonna get this.
Yeah, we'll get that in sync, right?
Absolutely.
Andy,
right,
always
Ross,
a pleasure, my man. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Ross, the
All right.
boss, Benjamin. We're having a great time in the live chat. So we have to pull up the comment that started this all. So all in on Hall of Fame game, no rent money. Sugar, that last dunk got me 30 yards. I would love to tell you that I know what's going on here, but I get the first part. All in on the Hall of Fame game. Okay, Alex is going all in on the Hall of Fame. We don't really recommend that. No rent money. I would recommend you at least pull back some for rent. But Sugar, that last donk got me 30 yards. Maybe it's a player prop. I bet he has a player prop that he needs. He needs a big donk to get 30 yards. So, but speaking of this, Alex is actually one of our YouTube insiders. And this is a great little segue. We got 3 insiders with us today: Duffel Cole, Have, and Alex. WT.buzz/insiders. It's only $2.99 a month. You get special content. Starting on the 1st, you're going to get a $5 coupon every single month starting next month. So $2.99, you get all the emojis, you get the badges, you're going to start getting some special content, and you're going to get $5. We're literally paying you $2 in wager bucks to become a YouTube insider. So really, really excited once we get into football season for all of the special features. You can check it out, WT.buzz/insiders. All right, we're going to break down the Chargers 9.5 season win total after we get with Andrew McInnis, because we got to get our CFL fix, Andrew. We got to. Football's here, man, but CFL's been with us for a while here. So, how you doing, man? What's the background? What's your background? I don't think I've seen that one before.
This is an original six picture there. So all the original 6 teams: Leafs, Rangers, Blackhawks, Canadians. We got Johnny Detroit's Red Wings there. So I got a bunch up on the wall. Unfortunately, I don't have anything CFL. I don't have any MLB here. We're working on it, but I'll tell you what, I've been liking the no green screen background. It's a little bit more authentic, a little more, personalized, I guess.
You know me, I'm team no green screen. I got a couple things ordered from Amazon to prop up my lights, and I get to hang on my artwork, and then my new office is complete. So, all right, let's talk some little CFL. Let's talk the Red Blacks and the Stampeders. You surprised me with this one. I also want to tell you, Andrew and I, we're going to be doing our usual Monday NFL prop show. Of course, we're not going to stop doing that. That thing's a monster. And Andrew and I are going to talk a lot more about team totals. You've heard me talk about team totals a lot on this show. Andrew's been doing a good job talking about it. Once we get into the fall where we have college football, NFL, all these other sports, Andrew and I really, really believe in team totals, and we believe that it can be a soft market at times. So you got a team total for us in CFL, but expect a lot more team total content coming from Andrew and I once more of these sports start. So let's talk about Red Blacks and Stampeders. How do you break it down?
Yeah, Andy, I was trying to figure out which way to start with this game, but I'll say this. You talk about team totals. Well, the one thing great about it is that you don't have to worry about what their defense necessarily does, of course, if you're just betting them over their certain number. That's how I feel about this Red Blacks roster. I don't want to just worry about their offense and not worry about the defense whatsoever here. Now, this Red Blacks team is coming off back-to-back losses against the exact same team. They had a home-and-home against the Ticats and then a bye week. And I know when it's high-pressure situations, doesn't mean it always is a time to back a team. But I'd say this is a big game here for this Red Blacks team. Also a big game for head coach Bob Dice. The GM has come out and said he's backing Dice. He's cool with him. You know, he has no issue with job security. But we've heard that story before. When a GM says that, then 2 weeks later, they're knocking on his door and saying, see you later. The Red Blacks need a good effort this week. And they're healthy. The bye week helped them get healthy. All their all-star receivers are back. Drew Brown is feeling pretty good. But the big story surrounding the CFL this week are the Calgary injuries. Not only are they missing their number 1 corner going into this week, Vernon Adams Jr., their quarterback, will miss at least 1 week. That means PJ Walker, yes, you heard that right, PJ Walker will be behind center for Calgary. And although I'm not taking his side, I'm taking a team total here. I think that with PJ Walker being out there, it'll be less time in possession for the Stamps. He didn't look very good last week when he came in. I think he'll be a little bit rusty still, which means they're not going to have the ball nearly as much. The Red Blacks will be able to march the field, take advantage of this very banged up Calgary Stampeders roster. They went on a huge run to start the season. They were 5-0 ATS as an underdog. Now last week, they kind of hit that bump in the road. They opened up 4.5-point favorites in this this matchup. Now they're plus 3.5, Andy. 4.5-point favorites to plus 3.5. Only a swing you see in the CFL. I don't want to worry about the point spread here. Let's just get over 26.5. This is a game you can expect the Ottawa offense to show up at home, and we'll take them over 26.5 with their team total.
What are some other? Actually, let's do a question here from Duffel. Andrew, are we taking Bombers by 6 this week? Are we taking the Bombers by 6? You got to play in that one. Strong opinion, or is it a pass?
Yeah, that's a side I would lean. I mean, speaking of team totals, Andy, that's kind of. I think I would probably just worry about their team total if I were to bet that one. It's another home and home and a back-to-back revenge spot. The same team there, and the Argos coming off an outright loss as favorites. So this team's struggling. They're not the exact same, our Bombers team that we grew up watching here, or at least I grew up watching. But at the end of the day, a little bump in the road for them, a little adversity, it makes a lot of sense. And I think that this is a team that will still be a great team come end of the year. At the -6 number, I would lean that way, but I would more so take over 29.5. Look for them to get to that 30-point mark.
Love it. Love it. Any other CFL teams kind of catch your eye? You got any injuries that we're looking to fade, or guys coming back that we think we got some good spots over the next couple weeks?
Well, I'll tell you what, this Montreal Alouettes team, Andy, right now, they made some last week because they had a backup quarterback in. I believe that was my free play I gave out on the show on WagerTalk today. They were plus 6.5 against Calgary, who we just spoke about. They won that game outright. They had their backup quarterback in. Nobody believed in him. For some reason, I feel like right now Montreal is an underrated team in the league. And going into the season, they were one of the top-rated teams to go to the Grey Cup, one of the top-rated teams, future odds-wise. So watch out for Montreal, guys, over the next few weeks, especially if you can get a good number on them, get that best price. Because, a lot of times, Andy will come on and say, watch out for this underdog. But this might be a favorite, actually, that I think there's going to be value on moving forwards.
You've been on a nice run the last 7 days. I know you're running a promo code, I believe, is week49, WEEK. There's 2 E's, 49. I get 7 plays for just $49, 16 units over the last 7 days. Nice work. Tell us about that. What's been working for you?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. It's the team totals for baseball. 49%, guys. That's the win rate that I'm hitting at MLB. Doesn't sound great, right? But if you're not laying a ton of juice, it doesn't matter. A lot of my average prices, plus 100, plus 105, plus 110. Yesterday, I go 2-1 in baseball, hit the 4%, which was a plus 105, hit the 3%, which was a plus 100. That's how you win in baseball, in my opinion. I feel like people get really hurt. They get damaged their bankroll by risking too much, by laying too much chalk. CFL has been great. I always tell you guys that people want to bet it early on in the year. This is the time to bet CFL. College football's back. We've got an NFL game on Thursday. So if there were anybody that cared about the CFL, half those people are going to drop off this Thursday. But that's the time to bet on the CFL. The markets are moving. I'll do the research for you. You guys join me, wagertalk.com. Week 49 is a great deal. $49 for all of my plays. And got some afternoon action today in MLB action as well. So I cannot wait. I'm shocked. I love Ross Benjamin. I couldn't believe that he threw out I know a lot of you guys don't want to bet MLB. I'm sitting here like, dude, what do you mean?
Doesn't?
Like, that's what everybody's going to the website for all summer. Like, I've never heard anybody. I love the guy, but I'm like, dude, I'm out here hitting 5% CFL plays, begging people to join me. Like, I don't know. I think people like their MLB just fine.
Team total theory. Dan came up with this one. I'm 100% on board. I'm just blindly betting the Bengals opponent over their team total. That defense is so bad. That could be an easy way to profit NFL. Just the Bengals. I don't know how high that they could put it before I would look at it under, but the Bengals opponent team total. That's going to be what I focus on NFL. So, all right, get ready for Andrew and I's prop show. It's going to be Monday morning every Monday during NFL season. Always a great time. We get you ready for props and team totals and everything under the sun for Monday Night Football. And then the most important thing we do in that show, we look ahead to the next week. Who do we like? What numbers are we looking at to come out with props? So that way when the props come out on Wednesday and Thursday, we're ready. So get ready for that. Andrew, great work. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.
Yes, thanks, Andy. I just real quick, I wanted to mention, I forgot, but we have our show, the Blueprint, CFL Betting Blueprint, myself, Bobby DeBow. It's no opening line report with TC, but we do our best to replicate that. And that drops Tuesday evenings usually. And with a league like the CFL, you really want to get the best of the number. You want to bet it earlier in the week. So guys, for all the support you guys have given us on that show, we appreciate it. If you have not checked it out yet, it's up right now. WagerTalk TV, every single week, CFL Betting Blueprint. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andrew. All right. So someone asked, love the show, Andy. Quick question, though. What happened to Prez and Teddy? And someone said they had a divorce. They did not have a divorce. They were never married. No, Teddy is focusing on other things, and Prez is focusing on other things. Prez is literally, Dan, can we say he's become a professional poker player? If
you could say it. I don't know if it would be completely true, but we could say it.
No, you're gonna get plenty of Prez and Teddy's content. Teddy's focusing on opening line report. Prez is off doing his poker thing, and honestly, guys, it just runs its course. They've been doing shows together forever.
Andy, have you seen, if you follow at Teddy_ on Twitter? I have never seen him posting pictures looking happy, with his son. Teddy
with his son at the concert. Yes.
Teddy is actually enjoying his life for probably the first time since I've known Teddy, and I worked with him for 5 years. So Teddy deserves this. And honestly, if you look at the run that he kind of went on, I think when you take a step back sometimes, it can honestly even make you a better handicapper. I think Teddy just kind of got worn out. So, it's fun to be oh, they had a divorce. Oh, they hated working with each other.
They did not have a
divorce. The truth is they hang out every time they're in Vegas. I've hung out with them in Vegas. They're the closest of friends. It was just, the reality of Teddy wanting to kind of take a little bit of a step back. Prez focusing on some other things as well. So I'm excited for both of them. I'm pumped for Prez's new show that's going to be coming up. Really exciting things there. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but it's going to be a hell of a show that Prez has coming up. And Teddy's, all in on the opening line report this year. Kelly in Vegas is actually going to be alongside him for the opening line report. So every single Monday, you're going to get KIV and Teddy covers to start off the week. We got Bet on It coming back. So more reasons than ever for people to hit that subscribe button. And I'm sure there will be some Prez and Teddy drama somewhere that we'll be able to sprinkle in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. SF Niner says he was only kidding. I know, we're kidding.
Oh, yeah. So are we.
We're kidding with you, bro. We're kidding with you, brother. It's all love,
we're all
positive vibes. Yeah. All right. Speaking of positive vibes, is it going to be a positive year for the Chargers? Let's break down the Chargers here. 9.5 wins here. PFF ranked. This was interesting, Dan. PFF ranked them 18th in offense last year and 25th on defense. That seems really low for a team that won double-digit games. Their offseason, they added some nice secondary depth, some D-line depth, Khalil Mack, Mike Williams, Najee Harris. Hopefully Najee's 100%. They got Mekhi Becton as a guard. That was a really nice. I like all their additions here. I'll go through what PFF has them ranked going into this year. They have their defensive line 19th, offensive line 10th, which that's a Harbaugh staple. I mean, it's going to be a top 10 offensive line for his entire tenure unless they slew of injuries. Running backs 15th, 27th wide receivers. No surprise there. They're not interested in getting into massive shootouts. 9th in the secondary and 18th linebackers. It feels like Harbaugh's already putting his stamp on this one. Let's do the schedule real quick. Chiefs at Raiders, Broncos at Giants, Commanders at Dolphins, Colts, Vikings at Titans, Steelers at Jags. I like that they get their bye kind of later in the year. Then they open up after the bye week with Raiders, Eagles at Chiefs, at Cowboys, Houston, and then finish at Broncos. All right. Over under is 9.5. What say you, Dan?
Fatone 24 or Fat One 24, either one. AFC is such a tough division, AFC West. But for me, I always like saying, iron sharpening iron. So I sometimes like it when you have a team who is battle tested in division, simply because when you go out and get to play out of division, some of your toughest tests come there in division. You mentioned what the Chargers did last year. You'd be remiss without saying they benefited from a pretty easy schedule last year, and still maybe underperformed a little bit, but you ran down the schedule there, outside of a couple tough spots and, having to play the NFC East. This schedule isn't astronomically more difficult than it was last year. You have a couple different tests. You have a really nice bye week. And heading into that bye week, outside of the Chiefs matchup that you have, I have a lot of teams who are lined around that 500 mark. And you mentioned this is a team who wants to ground and pound, wear you down. They add Najee Harris to the roster, him not having to be a lead back and kind of being a piece that will wear you down running back by committee. I think that was a great signing. I'm with you. I like a lot of what they did in the offseason, and don't sleep on them doing something in season as well, because they still have plenty of cap room to maybe go out and add a little bit to the wide receiving core. Because outside of Ladd McConkey, who was a nice surprise last season, who do you really have to rely on moving the ball through the air? No one. But if your ground and pound works, you're going to make sub-tier wide receivers that much better down the stretch in games, simply because you wore down, the second and the third line of the defense by pounding the rock at teams, keeping their defense fresh. So, all that to say, Andy, 9.5 is a beautiful number. I'm sure the commenters will laugh and be like, "Oh, Dan with his overs." Like, I ever so slightly lean to the over, but the stronger thing for me is, Andy, I wouldn't be playing the under on this Chargers team. I'm really high on them. Could an injury completely derail what they're doing and then they only end up with 8 wins? Sure. Could the running back by committee thing not really work out and they need more help and they can't get it through moving the ball down the field? Sure, that might happen, but the schedule, the coaching continuity, the offseason moves, that all to me spells towards 10 or more wins. Do they get there, though? I don't have the confidence to say this would be something I would bet. But for our show purposes, it would be an over with the LA Chargers for me.
Coaching, man. Harbaugh wins literally wherever he goes. Like, wherever this man goes, he just puts his stamp on this team, and it immediately becomes his identity. And just in the first season, he's already started to turn this team into what he wants it to be. He loves his quarterback. So I get a great coaching staff. I get great chemistry between him and the quarterback. Yeah, you got some questions about the quarterback in the playoffs, but during regular season, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I love this. I love the signing of Najee Harris. If he is 100%, I think that's a really sneaky one. Their first game of the season is Chiefs. I love that they get the Chiefs at home in the first game of the season. Chiefs notoriously start off slow. You get them at home. You got the whole training camp to prepare for them. And then I'm looking at games against the Raiders. I'm out on the Raiders. This division's tough, but I'm completely out on the Raiders. And then I look at games against the Giants and the Dolphins and the Colts. And what if the Vikings suck with McCarthy? What with Titans?
Yeah.
Steelers, Jags? Yeah, this is an over for me. 10 wins? Yeah, absolutely. I see too many winnable games on this schedule. I would say 10-7 would be the Mendoza line.
The floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of with
really
you there.
do.
It's just simply because of the division that they're in. That's what if you're talking about this Chargers schedule and they're in the same division as the Jags, I'm all in. You know what I mean? But you just don't know what's going to happen in that AFC West.
Yeah, I believe when you have a good coach and a good quarterback, and then your PFF has an offensive line. You give me a good coach, a good quarterback, and a good offensive line. I'm betting 10 wins every single time. So I'm going to go a little bit more of a stronger opinion on the over with the Chargers there. So leave us a comment.
Have did point out as well that is a home game for the Chargers on the schedule,
that's right.
But it is the Brazil game, which the Brazil
Great
game
catch,
could be
Javi.
but honestly, if anything, neither of the teams are accustomed to that. You know what I mean? So you can't really say, oh, well, one has more continuity than anything. You look how wonky that Eagles and Packers game was to start off the year in Brazil. If it's the same turf, just take the over on rushing yards for all of these players. If it's the same turf, because ain't nobody digging in on that turf.
No. Great catch, Have. Yeah, I don't think it changes my handicap of what could happen in that game. I just love them getting it week 1. So, all right, guys, leave us a comment. Tell us if you like the Chargers over or under 9.5. Don't forget to sign up for my golf best bet. That tees off tomorrow about 12:54 Eastern time. I absolutely love this play. So go grab that. And also don't forget to become a WagerTalk YouTube insider. Only $2.99 a month. You're going to get a $5 coupon at the beginning of each month. It's a no-brainer. You're going to start getting special content. You also get emojis, badges, and we'll highlight your comments definitely here on the show. So great job, everyone. Absolutely fantastic show. Shout out to Andrew, Ross, and Gianni, always bringing great segments. And appreciate to you guys, the audience. Football is here. Tomorrow, we're going to break down the Hall of Fame game, so make sure you join us. Hit that like button and subscribe on the way out. Appreciate you guys.